In this episode of Life Beyond the Pitch, we interview Ali Naseer. He is one of the youngest players in the UAE Under-19 World Cup squad. He is an ICC scholar and the UAE Under-16 batting record holder. So, without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Ali Naseer. Yeah, Ali, thank you so much for doing this, man. Welcome to the third episode of Life Beyond the Pitch. So, how you been doing? How's your quarantine cricket diaries going?
Quarantine's been going well. To be honest, it's been like a blessing in disguise for me because since quarantine started over the past month and a half, I've been doing quite a lot of home exercises, home workouts, like developing my core, my upper body strength, and all of that. So yeah, I think quarantine's been going pretty well. And I thank God cricket's finally started because I was going mental without it.
Same here. How did you begin your cricket career? Was it through your parents or your family? How was it?
To be honest, I was at school one day and then my friends were playing cricket on the field or whatever. So I was like, let me just join and see how it goes. And I actually liked it that day. So I went back home and I told my driver, because my driver was Sri Lankan, and he loved cricket. So he was kind of my first coach. So he taught me to how to hold a bat, bowl and strong and all of that. So I think I probably began playing when I was about 10 or 11.
So you're one of the youngest players in the UAE World Cup squad. Do you also want to talk about
second youngest.
Yeah, you were one of the youngest. Yeah. So do you also talk about the entire exposure and how it was and what was the atmosphere there?
To be honest, playing the World Cup at 15 was amazing for me. That was a once in a lifetime experience because you played against teams which were for example, New Zealand, South Africa, all these teams. You saw how the best players went about their business and did what they wanted to do before matches and after matches, and they gave you a sense of professionalism, and you could actually learn from that because in 2022 I think the UAE is going to play the World Cup qualifiers, and if we do qualify for that, then we won't be so for example, me and Kai, we won't be new to any of that because we would have experienced what it feels like to go and play a World Cup. So I think it was really good, the experience, and I learned a hell of a lot from it.
How was the jump from the Under-16 tournament? You guys played that, you almost won that. How was the jump from there to the Under-19 World Cup?
It was a huge jump because the level of cricket at Under-16 was nowhere near Under-19s. We played against associates like Oman, Saudi, and all these teams, and from going to playing against those teams and then going to playing against New Zealand or South Africa or even Afghanistan were really strong. It was a huge jump in the level of cricket. So yeah.
How do you adjust to that jump? Was it more training hours, talking to senior players? How was it?
It was more going out of your comfort zone. So for example, in batting you would have to face a high level of pace and more pace, and then in terms of bowling you need to ensure that you're switched on from ball one and you've got everything right from ball one, because you can't give the batsman any looseness, because in a high level of cricket that doesn't work and you probably won't make it. So that was my way of trying to adjust to the Under-19 World Cup.
So how do you switch off? Say, example, you had a bad day on the field. How do you go back home and not take that bad day and keep thinking about it?
To be honest, I'm more of a joker in the team. So after the match finishes, no matter what happens, I'm still making jokes and all of that. So that kind of puts me off the game as well. So if I've had a good game, I'll still joke. If I've had a bad game, I'll still joke. It doesn't really matter to me because that's one way of switching off and thinking about something else. So yeah.
Now we're going to do the quiz about your favorite cricketer. So I asked you earlier, it was Babar Azam and Pat Cummins. So I'll ask you two questions about them. Who was Babar Azam's maiden test century against? Was it Australia, was it India, New Zealand, or Sri Lanka?
It wasn't New Zealand and it wasn't India, for sure. So I would say, is Sri Lanka there?
Yeah, Sri Lanka is one of the options.
I'd say Sri Lanka.
It was New Zealand, but you crossed it off in the beginning. Now Pat Cummins, who did he make his debut against and what year was it?
Oh my god.
I'll give you a hint.
Was this ODI debut or what?
Test match debut, test match. I'll give you a hint. The country starts off with the S. The name starts over with S.
Okay, fine. The country is probably Sri Lanka.
Another S.
Oh my god. Wait.
You guys
Oh no, I'm
World
joking. I'm just joking, man. South Africa.
Yeah.
So his maiden test was against South Africa. And
Guess the year.
what I heard about Pat Cummins was that he played like one test in like 2010 or 11. Then he had like a gap of 6-7 years, and he came back.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think when is
2010 or 2011? Which year?
Oh, I was close. Okay.
You were close. Which year?
2011.
Spot on. 100%. You're right. Let's go. Okay. What do you think your batting average was in your 2018-2019 ECP season?
To be honest with that season, I scored a hell of a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Like I got best batsman that season, so
take a guess.
It'd be pretty high.
Do you want like a hint?
Yeah.
It's above 40.
I'm thinking 50. I'm thinking between 50 and 60.
Okay. Take a guess. Take any number.
53.
51. You're close though. Okay.
That's good though. That's good.
That's good. Okay. What's your bowling economy in the same year but for Dubai under 16?
Wasn't it 6 or no 7?
It's a bit high. Reduce it.
A bit higher?
No, a bit lower.
Oh, okay. It was lower than that. 5?
4.5.
It was 5?
4.5.
4.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's pretty
I
decent.
know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna do like a rapid fire question and answer with you, right? So it's like 1 minute. You gotta answer all these questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your funniest teammate?
Which team?
Any team.
ICCU.
ICC, UE, whichever one.
The thing is, see, all of us are like jokers, so it's hard to pick one. Like
who's one in the World Cup squad? Who's one in the World Cup squad?
Okay, one in the World Cup squad. Wasi.
Okay. What's your most iconic memory on the field?
My most iconic memory on the field. I'd probably say playing. Okay, yeah, I mean scoring 197 against Iran. That's pretty good.
Who's one young star you want to watch for the future in the UAE?
It's between Ayan Khan. He's quite good, and Amar Badami's there. He's a pretty good leggy. So yeah, between those two.
Who's your biggest competition? Like, who do you hate bowling to or hate facing in the UAE squad?
Who do I hate bowling to?
Yeah.
Bro, I absolutely despise bowling to Ali Shan. Like, he's like one of the hardest batsmen to bowl to.
That's true.
And I'll face anyone. Like, no one really intimidates me. Like, pace, spin, whatever.
Who's your best roommate?
Probably in my under 16 tour, it was like 4 of us in like a apartment kind of thing. So it was me, Ravim, Josh, and Rishad. So that was pretty fun.
If you weren't playing cricket, what would you do?
I'd be involved in like sports management or do like something around that.
Okay. Would you rather bowl to Babar Azam or get a one-on-one session with Pat Cummins?
Get a one-on-one session with Pat Cummins, because then I could learn from him, do well, and then eventually bowl to Babar Azam.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ali, for being the third guest in Life Beyond the Pitch. You want any final words to the viewers?
Guys, just make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I know I'm trying really hard to like do well with this interview and all of that, so make sure you subscribe, like, and share all of this. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much.